testimony. Hey everybody, welcome back. I got Jeff Concentine here with me. Jeff, how are you?
Pretty good.
Pretty good to see you. How long have you been coming to Faith Center, man?
3 years. 3 years, April 1st.
April 1st.
Yeah.
Have you seen like a big difference in your life since you started coming? What was your like church life like before you started coming?
It was kind of here and there. Started going to church on a regular in Mayfield where I grew up. Went there for probably good 2 years steady, and then COVID kind of hit. Then it got weird then. So
Yeah.
I watched a couple of videos online, and that kind of felt weird. So just didn't really do much more church until I actually heard about Faith Center. I used to watch the 10 at 10 Pastor John does on Wednesdays every day, and to have a 10 o'clock break at work. And it'd be my opportunity to watch that, and I enjoyed those little short sermons he did, and listened to a couple of other sermons on Facebook. I think it's on Facebook, or somebody might have sent them to me. But I was just listening to him, and the way he was arranging his words was, it was, I could understand a lot more, and it just piqued my interest deeply. Yeah.
Yeah, so you were just checking it out without really coming, just kind of getting a feel for it, and then this guy makes some sense. I'm going to try it out.
Yeah.
And then you've been coming faithfully for a few years now.
3 years, man. Yeah. I came first couple of times and boo-hoo like a baby. And
oh, yeah. That'll happen to you.
Going ever since, yeah.
What was it like before when you were growing up? Did you grow up in church?
Not really. I remember going to church every Easter with my mother and my sister. And I think I still got a bunch of Easter pictures. I always remember getting dressed up and going to church for Easter. Never really had any kind of Sunday school, nothing steady. I remember going here and there, and basically knew that you should go to church. Didn't have a clue why we was going, didn't really learn anything. I guess my mom taught us taught us about God, but not too much. It wasn't really pressed too hard.
Yeah.
Difference between right and wrong, pretty much. That concept. I don't know, but yeah, I didn't really grow up in church. I had a church home, like I said, in Mayfield, that when I wanted to go, that's the one I always went to. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So growing up in Mayfield, what were the influences like around you growing up?
Oh man, not good.
You mentioned your mom. Was your dad in the picture too?
No. Stepdad, my sister's dad, lived with him. My real dad, he was around. He'd come pick me up sometimes and let me spend the weekend with him. But yeah, influences pretty much friends and coaches.
Yeah.
Just play sports. That was about it, man. Nothing else. Ran around riding bikes everywhere, walking everywhere, playing pickup games of football and basketball, and just being an athlete. That was the influence,
Yeah.
Who was the strongest, who was the fastest.
There's a lot of freedom back then as a kid.
Yeah.
You could kind of just roam as long as you were home by dark kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You actually played,
Yeah.
know. I don't remember. I remember the Nintendo.
Oh, yeah.
And, it was, saved the princess 100 times.
Yeah.
It got old, so it was only on rainy days, man. So
Was sports a big thing in your life?
Yeah, yeah. I didn't play sports until probably my seventh grade because I was born in Mayfield and we moved to Fulton,
Hmm.
and I went through elementary school there,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't have little league sports or anything like it. Such a small school. But we moved back to Mayfield. Uh, I was in the seventh grade, and I played since then. Played football. Tried to play basketball, but my report card was not satisfactory.
Oh
So
no.
my mom wouldn't let me play. I was able to play football because the season started before the grades came out. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, about the time basketball season started, she's like, "No, you're not playing anything." So that kind of killed a basketball career. But I ran track in high school, so that kind of helped out with football. And but yeah, that was my life. Sports. Go home.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too much in Mayfield to do. Well, not then. I don't think it is
Yeah.
now either. But
Man, don't get me started on school because I struggled in school. I was just talking to Jody about memories of like first grade of not even holding the pencil correctly, getting
yeah,
getting told because we were out in like cursive in my school. So
yeah,
I'm sitting there and I'm like got my hand all curled up and teachers just nagging me. I was like, I struggled from the get. Like it
yeah,
was hard. So I was like C's and that I'm good. I mean, I'd get an A and B here and there, but I was not like proficient in anything really. I liked some literature and stuff like that. But so like, did you have like this yearning for something more? Like, something that comes up on here a lot is like spiritual fathers and mentors.
hmm
And that's probably something you were yearning for when you were younger. Where did you find
definitely.
that? When in your life? Have you even found it now?
Oh, I can't say that I have, and maybe I have and didn't see it. It was I have some men in my life that they would talk to me about things, but I wouldn't listen to anything, man. But nobody like steady,
Mm,
not really. Coaches, if anything,
yeah.
that was really the only positive men I was around that I knew of. Other than that, I was just, I mean, my mom, um, she was there, and she had a relationship with a guy. Uh, they were together a while. He's a pretty cool dude, but it wasn't nothing spiritual about it. Everywhere he went, he claimed me as his son, and time I'm like 6'2", 200 pounds. He was probably 5'6",
Mm.
150, and people used to ask, "Is Dave your dad?" I'm like, "Nah, man, that's that's not my dad." But he would tell people, "That's my son." But I guess he was just proud of me, who I was or whatever. But
Yeah.
he was cool, man. But I always felt like something was missing somewhere. I always felt a void. Um, I did a lot of things that I didn't want to. I just did because everybody else was doing this, where all my friends were going.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes parties and stuff, and just going different places. And I just went, but I never felt like I was in the right place.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, there's a lot of bad influence, man, and you're gonna be a product of your environment most of the time, unless you do have somebody in your ear pointing things out to you. And I didn't, so made a lot of dumb choices. I do realize in hindsight that the Lord was with me then.
Yeah,
Yeah, cause
for sure. Yeah, I feel that
yeah,
in my life too. It's just like even with like my dad, I feel like I took him for granted sometimes.
mm,
Like you were saying with like advice, sometimes you just don't take it.
yeah,
And like with my dad, it was almost all spiritual advice. It was everything kind of came from a perspective of God was part of the conversation.
mm,
And that's awesome. That's great. But
yeah,
like I think I kind of like toned it out at one point in my life whenever I started getting into that, influential teenage or dome. And
mm,
really, going from private school to public school, it was like the whole world kind of reveals itself to you all
oh
at once,
yeah,
kind of thing. But even with a mentor, father, or some kind of role, if we're not accepting of what they say or putting to action, like were you at church Sunday?
yes,
Man, John was talking about remembering with action and stuff.
yeah,
That was like
yeah,
so 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 good to like put action to it. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
And so many times, like when you're young, and especially if you're a young guy and you're standing a head and shoulders taller than the guy who's calling you son, you're like, dude, what do you mean?
yes,
I could see that for sure.
yeah. It was cool though. I never really,
Right.
I didn't have it. I'm like, you're not my dad.
Yeah.
I just, all right, whatever. Just when I got asked, I'm like, nah, he's not my dad, man. Look at us, it was funny. He was cool though, but
So ever since you've been coming to Faith Center, I see you everywhere serving. It seems like you're serving everywhere. Like, was that always kind of like a heart you had? Was to like serve people?
yeah, it comes natural for me, man. That's
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I can do without effort, or you know, I've always been a yes man.
Mm.
I'm a people pleaser, and I know that's not good a lot of the times, but serving is different now. It's a definition with it
Mm.
because I feel like it justifies how I've always felt.
Right.
You know, it lets me know that God has been in my heart all this time. I just didn't know it. Be labeled weak sometimes, being so nice to people, and
Mm.
I got picked on for laughing and smiling all the time. Man, it's
Yeah.
I was always laughing and smiling. I found humor everywhere, but I'm going in left field. But
No, it's cool because like kids will find anything to pick on you, and that's like what God gave you was that kind of
yeah,
spirit, that kind of heart, that like happy attitude, and that servant heart. But those insecurities can come so quick and try to like quench some of those giftings that
hmm,
God's given us, and you don't even realize it then until you're now that you're doing it more, and you're like, oh wow, this is like what I'm called to do.
hmm,
You can really see like, oh, this has always been a part of who I am.
yeah, it feels good, man. I've been learning that been reading a lot about gifts, spiritual gifts, and just trying to look at myself, man, and figure out all my gifts. And I do know that's one of them. I can help you, whatever you need, especially physically, and just I can be there. What do you need me to do?
Mm-hmm.
I've always been that type of person, and it don't bother me. I've even been told, man, you do too much, or you need to sit down. And sometimes I do. Sometimes I say yes when I should have said no. I
Mm.
was actually told that last week. Like it's okay to say no
Yeah.
sometimes. So I kind of that's been on my mind here lately. But I don't know, when somebody needs something and you can do it or give it. Do you say no? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's what I'm working on, but it feels good to help people, man. I'm blessed to be able to do that. So that's what we
Yeah.
supposed to be, a blessing, man, and that's one thing that I can do. So
And there might be seasons where you might have to say no more. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
And so, like, if you're in a season of life where you can say yes, I think it's a good mindset to kind of be leaning more towards that than more towards the other way where you're kind of like, I don't really think I want to help. You know what
hmm,
I mean? And then the Lord can give you wisdom and the discernment of like, all right, hit the brakes. You're
yeah,
overstepping because you still want to have the right heart about it. But if your
hmm,
heart is just like for it, then like the world can't be against it, in my opinion, because the Lord's with you and stuff. So you serve with Matt 25.
yeah.
Did you guys go to Mexico?
Yes,
Yeah.
man, that was awesome.
What? Tell me a little bit about that.
Golly, that's when I realized how big God is, man. Well, beyond my little circle, but
First time out of the country.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it was an eye opener, and just the way they worshiped there, man, was amazing, and you didn't even have to know what was being said to
Mm.
feel the spirit there, man. It was, yeah, I was, it was real dusty there, man. So yeah, it dry eyes, man. It was beautiful. Yes, I appreciated that opportunity a lot, and then just to go and do what we did, man. We did a little construction work, did some painting, so we was able to go there and serve them, man, and
Yeah.
in turn they served us. One thing that got pointed out was what we do at Met 25 is, we go to the mission and serve the guys food that we cook, and we handing out food, and then there we were getting served.
Mm.
They was fixing our plates and cooking for us, and it just the tables turned, man, and it was the hospitality was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and it's a beautiful place. Yeah, wouldn't mind going back.
They got like a real freedom in their worship. They're not really. They don't have that same social worry about like what the person next to him is thinking, kind of thing. I feel
Yeah,
like. I feel like there's just more freedom there. I mean, I know they have the same problems and same things we have outside of church, but when they're there, they're there. Like
yeah,
they are present. There's
yeah.
not very many that are just kind of sitting there, kind of like twiddling their thumbs.
Hmm.
And so, that kind of passion is necessary. And then with that, leadership and discipleship, I think that's what Pastor John and Pastor Jeff have really been kind of taking over there.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff that maybe they don't have it all figured out.
Hmm.
But I keep on hearing you talk about the spirit. You feel the spirit in Mexico. You're like exploring spiritual gifts. Is it such a pretty new thing that you're kind of like weeding out right now?
Oh yeah. Um,
What was it like for you when you first were encountered with like tongues or any kind of like spiritual encounter?
um, I guess a little bit overwhelming. Um, it's kind of unexplainable, man, because you feel um, you feel satisfied and full of joy that there is something else besides what you've been used to. Because like I said, I felt a void just all my life. Something's missing. I don't feel right. I don't feel in place.
Mm.
And when I first felt him touch me, man, yeah, I didn't. I wanted to. I wanted to explode, and I don't.
Yeah.
It's.
It didn't scare
I
you?
want to jump out of my skin or something,
Oh
or
yeah.
yeah. I don't. No, I. It didn't. Maybe a little bit, but
Yeah.
it was just more like, what what's going on, but you know what's going on. It's just how you feel, what runs through your body, man, and your eyes being open to things I'm able to see now, and the peace.
Mm.
I never thought I'd feel the peace that he gives.
Yeah.
Things are okay. Whatever you go through, you know that it's gonna come to an end. And you want to be glad that you're going through it. It's one thing that I've grown to be, and it's weird. Um, I almost enjoy hardship because I know it's doing something for me.
Mm.
I know it's building me up and making me stronger for next time, or to be able to help somebody else out with it. But I'm able to learn from what I go through now, and I'm not sure I was able to do it before, man. It's just I don't know. It's
Yeah. I feel like that's a great lesson to learn and a great mentality to have when you're facing trials in your
hmm
life. Like almost excited, ready to tackle it
yeah,
because it's going to give you something to help someone else.
yeah,
And it's going to add to your character, it's going to add to your faith, it's going to grow you and get you to the next level. John says all the time we're going to grow more outside of our comfort zone.
yeah.
So fighting, a comfort, but just to step back a little bit to when you're saying you didn't even feel like you just didn't feel right and like almost didn't feel right in your own skin kind of thing, like I don't, something's missing, right?
hmm
What would be some advice if you could go back and say what would be the advice you'd give yourself if
Um, for one, read. Uh,
hmm
read. That word gives you so much, and that's been part of my transformation. And he put that in me. He increased that desire for me. I've never read anything. I hate reading directions, man. I mean, me and read. I don't even know how I made it through school. Because I read just enough to get that D.
yeah,
But read and learn learn who Jesus is, man, and what he can do for you. And even outside of that, it's just say no.
mm,
Say no, because I said yes to a lot of things that I shouldn't have, man. It's okay to say no. I wish I'd have heard it years ago. And I probably have, wasn't listening, but hey, you want to go do this? Yeah. You want to do it? We going here, man. Come on. And I'd be like, man, come on. I get talked into it so easy. That's,
yeah,
but yeah, just say no, man, and read the word. Get in the word as much as you can, as much as you can tolerate in the beginning, and it'll grow. But
right,
yeah, I don't, and I wonder if I would have even listened, you know.
yeah.
So I probably wouldn't have listened about reading.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, that's something that I've changed about myself that has shown me a lot. Staying in the Word, knowing it for yourself. Because I was used to going and listening to sermons and just taking whatever somebody said,
yeah, right,
and then not even understanding half the stuff they talking about.
right,
So, I remember praying for that, praying for a lesson or some kind of Bible study or something, and I was able to get that going, man. And it got me in. Somebody held me accountable, um, and he would tell me, "Well, read this much before we get together, so you'll know a little bit what I'm talking about." So
yeah,
it's like, all right, man, and it wasn't a lot, and just a little at a time. At first, I was reading because if I don't read this, he gonna be mad at me.
mm,
But then my desire increased, man, and I wanted, things got interesting, and I realized I asked for this, so why am I not gonna do it myself? So yeah, I got to reading and reading lessons ahead, but yeah, reading, whether you understand it or not. The more you read, the more you understand. That's something I've realized, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm almost through the Bible. I promised myself to make that the first book I ever read. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm um start Second Thessalonians tonight when I get home. So and when I started January 1st of last year. So I seen something, read the Bible in a year.
Yeah.
I think it's like reading 3 or 4 chapters a day. And I started doing it for a while, and then things would happen, or I'd be gone for training at work, and I wouldn't be able to get the whole 3 or 4 in. So now I'm reading 2 a day regardless. One in the morning before I go to work, one at night,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes more,
Mm-hmm.
just depends. But the more I read from January of last year, I understand so much more. And then what I read that I didn't understand, I understand now. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I'm like, oh,
I remember this.
yeah, let me go
This
back.
seems familiar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so reading, man, as you got to be in that book and know those words because they holy.
Right.
Yeah,
It changed the way you think.
yes, it
Because, like,
does.
it doesn't, it's so different from what the world has tried to teach us our whole lives.
Oh,
You know what
man,
I mean?
crazy.
Just the way it talks is different. The way the Bible makes you think about things is different. It just changes your perspective on, I would say, everything in your life.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
it
So you
does,
started from
man.
Genesis and
Yeah.
just read all that's. See, I'm in the process of doing that myself. I'm in Second Chronicles, and so I decided to read Old Testament, and then I'm also reading a Psalm a day. So
Oh, okay.
I'm basically near the end of Psalms. So I think I'm on the biggest chapter of Psalms right now, Psalms 119,
Yeah.
and Second Chronicles. I love the story of Samuel, and I love the story of David and all that stuff.
Hmm.
But I didn't realize. I guess it's just been so long because I've grown up in church, but I haven't read First and Second Chronicles before,
Yeah.
and it's basically just retelling what happens in First and Second Kings and stuff like that. So you're kind of going
Hmm.
right back through some of these stories. Um, yeah, I think after I get done with it, I'm just gonna kind of read what I feel like the Lord wants me to read after I get through the
Yeah.
whole thing, because um, there's so many parts of it that it really does take some time to understand,
Yeah.
some spiritual maturity to kind of
Yeah.
understand
Definitely,
what
man.
happens. I mean, I just read a story where um, God was sitting there with the army of the angels, and this guy has a vision of God with the army of angels, and he's like, "Who's gonna go convince this king
Mm.
to go do this thing?" And it was like a lot. Like it says in the Bible, and now I need some historian to help me understand the actual, because sometimes there's that language barrier. And he says he
Yeah.
sends a lying spirit to the king to tell him to go to battle, so he'll die.
Hmm.
And it's like you read stuff like that, and it's like I don't get it. I don't understand it, but I know that I will eventually, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's about like God hardening Pharaoh's heart
Mm.
when um, he kept receiving those warnings, let the slaves go,
Yeah.
but he was hardening his heart.
Mm.
Not, so I understand. I was like, oh, that's weird. Why would he do it? But
The Old Testament's so literal. It's like God sent this, God
yeah,
did that. Like it's so literal in the way it reads, especially in my version it does. So it's like I gotta get some more context and some maybe this word is a different word in the Hebrew, or maybe there's
hmm
more meaning to it than just this. And I think there's just a lot more to understand, but I also think that some of these lessons are a lot more simplistic than I try to make them out to be, if you know what
true.
I mean.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Sometimes we can look into it too much and try to look beneath the surface, and the surface is all it is. It's
right.
yeah, yeah.
So you work at the Paducah Housing Authority, right?
Hmm.
And you help fix up the property and stuff. Is that what you
Yeah.
basically do?
Now I'm supervisor. I don't do much physical work
You
anymore.
tell the other guys to go fix up
Yeah,
the property.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't even know how that happened, but yeah, that's cool. But it's still able to come up with ideas and make decisions to get things done, man, and learning a lot about housing aspect and Section 8 and how all that works because I never knew you
Yeah,
know any of that, man. I started out on a lawn crew
right.
there.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I was just weed eating in mowing yards eight
Yeah.
years ago, so I've learned a lot being there, man, and
What
a
did you
lot.
learn from the people there?
You learn that you learn patience,
Hmm.
um, you learn customer service, um, but you see where a mindset is too, and like we was just talking about when you're reading the Bible is totally different from what the world teaches us, and you see that so much, man. And I want to take a book everywhere I go and like, look, don't. This is what we're supposed to be doing, but I'll probably lose my job doing that. So I try to slide in, you know, a little bit of scripture here and there at the right time. But people just want to live and they want everything to work, man.
Hmm.
And it's one thing that I try to remind um, my guys and girls that we need to do the best we can, regardless of what we think about somebody. Because you got some people that it's hard to work for. Like,
Yeah.
I need to go fix this, so they calling this in and that, and
They're always in the worst. They're in like the worst of moods. They're always something's always
yeah,
broken, and
yep,
you're always the guys who got to fix it. So that
yeah,
you probably get the like more side of it from the people for the most part. I'd
yeah.
assume.
And you got your good ones too, man. Like I said, it's just, man, people. It's a big variety of people, man. And you see them all. You see all spectrums
Right.
in housing, man. It's an interesting place. It's never a dull moment. Just when you think you've seen it all,
You,
something else happens, and that's what I love about it. I stay on the move, uh, behind the desk a little bit more than I ever thought I would be, which is cool because some days you just don't feel like doing anything. I
yeah.
don't
Yeah.
mind sitting and typing sometimes, but
Right.
still, it's different, man. It's not the same thing every day. I can't do that.
Yeah.
But helping others. Sometimes you get somebody that will listen to you. You go fix something in their apartment, and you try to let them know that, okay, this is what caused it. If you don't do this, then this won't happen again. Or
Mm.
don't plug up this microwave and this, air fryer in the same out. Stuff
Right.
like
Yeah.
that. And people listen. And it brings joy right there. I'm like, oh, somebody got it. So
But
and
it
it's
seems like you're working with people who are like, hurting, like, in income based housing, and you're serving meals to the home. It just seems like it's like all your life is serving people.
yeah, it all comes together, man.
It seems like it's gone full circle.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
crazy. Do you feel like that's what you're just called to do? Like, do you feel like that's what the Lord's completely called you to?
definitely,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I would honestly love to provide a homeless shelter someday, man. I know it's a lot of work, but I don't, I wouldn't see it as work, man. Um, just helping people out when they feel like they're at their lowest, man, and I don't know, just giving them basic necessities that some of us take for granted every day. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna run home and eat dinner and watch TV and go to bed, and somebody's not, man. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
right.
That's and that's just something that we do naturally every day. But
Mm-hmm.
some people can't. Um, they wake up wondering, okay, how's this day gonna go? How am I end up? So
Yeah.
that's something I don't know touches me. I've been um, homeless before. Uh,
How old were you?
47.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, and it don't feel good, man.
You just lose your job. What happened? If you don't mind me
Oh,
asking.
young and dumb.
Young and dumb.
Yeah, yeah. Just
So I can say I'm young at 47. I can still
oh
play that card.
no, I wouldn't. It wouldn't. This was years ago.
Oh,
When,
how old were you when you were homeless?
oh, okay.
When you
Sorry.
said 47, that's how old
Yeah,
you are
I'm
now.
47
Yeah,
now.
I got you. I got you. I got you.
No, I was in my 20s, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that makes more sense. I was like, man, you look good for however old you are. If that was 40, like, how old are you?
Yeah.
So you were in your 20s.
Yeah. Yeah. Drugs played a big part. Drinking, partying.
So when you went down the like saying yes to everything with people, did it like lead into some addiction and stuff like that?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was always that guy that'll try anything.
Okay.
Like, yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the same way with food, man. That's another thing drew me to me at 25. I heard that they cook. I was like, I like to cook. So, but yeah, man, it definitely, you know, and not even the first time. You just keep doing it because
Right.
it's available, and oh man, try this, or it's just fun, and half the time not even liking it.
Mm.
I never knew why people drank beer or liquor, and I ended up finding a love for it. So
I completely understand.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was gross, man. But
Yeah.
then later on in life, I'm like, man, I need a drink. So,
Right.
but and it was you never think you get there.
Yes.
I mean, like, yeah, I'm just partying, or turns into every once in a while, and then every weekend, and then twice a week, and then it just gradually works its way up, man. But
And then when you get there, you're in denial that you're there.
yep,
You know what I mean?
for
It's
a
like
long
I'm good.
time, like, man, whatever. So, but yeah, until you can't get it, that's when you find out
Right.
that you got a problem.
That you need it. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. That's what happened with me because I was just a stoner. I smoked a lot of weed, and then that got taken away from me.
Mhm.
And I would say weed's less addictive than some of the other things, but I immediately needed to fill that gap because I built
Yeah.
up this addiction of doing something every day.
Yep.
And so I went straight into alcohol, and then the rest is a wrap for me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you're right. So when you're in that stage of life, you're just like, this is just what you do. You just party at this age. Like, I'm just having a good time. Ain't nothing
Yeah.
wrong with me.
Yep.
And then, so that took you all the way to being homeless.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Just smoking up or drinking up all my money, and
Were you couch
not
hopping,
paying
or were
bills.
you like
Yeah,
sleeping in your
couch
car?
hopping.
Couch
Yeah.
hopping.
Yeah. And the worst part, I had a whole family, man.
Didn't reach out to nobody?
Married with 4 kids.
Oh, wow.
We bouncing from house to house, staying with people. So
Your whole family was?
yeah.
Wow.
4 little kids, man. I ain't got my stuff together, So
Yeah. You know, people say that like kids will just make you magically figure it all out, but that is not the case.
they do work
Like
on
not
me.
whenever you're and whenever I was in that mindset, man, I had 2 little ones, and it's like you almost like you can stop caring as much like what their situation. I mean, it hurts and stuff, but like whenever I was in alcohol, I mean, it was my lord, it was my number one. So
Yeah.
like it came before anyone else's feelings.
Yeah.
And so man, how hard was that with your kids and your wife? And
It was rough, man. And kids were at an age they didn't really realize what was going on. I talk to them about it now, and we had good times, if that makes sense. We was able to stay with people that loved us. of course, you gotta love somebody. You take in 6 people. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
I mean, and it just at the time, at the time, it didn't seem that bad. It didn't hit me
Mm.
like, well, we got a roof, we somewhere, just. And then one time I was filling out an application, man, and it asked on the application, don't know why, where you live for the past 7 years. Had to write down 7 different addresses, man.
Mm.
So I'm like, it kind of hit me there. I'm like, oh my goodness, where was I this year? Where was I at? And that's when we was kind of bouncing around, and then we kind of got stable, but we was still moving because wouldn't pay the rent and get evicted or something, or just move because the landlord was a slumlord. Different reasons, but
Yeah.
yeah, 7 years in a row, man, had a different address, and then it started hitting me like, man, I ain't got these kids a home, like, good. They'll never have a house to go back to and say, it's the house I grew up in.
Mm.
I mean, we got a couple of houses we lived in around town for some consecutive years. We talk about a lot of memories we have. But one thing, though, man, I realized when I wasn't there then for my family that God was,
Mm.
because He provided. You know, we had nothing, but had everything we needed every night, man. And I wasn't thinking about it then. Just something I realized in hindsight, and like God has always been with me, man. Even before I knew Him, you know,
Yeah.
He's opened up my eyes and let me see that He's been there, and I see that He's still with me, and just grateful, man. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
When you talk to your kids about it now, do you bring that up to them? Like, man, God had us the whole time.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. What do
yeah.
they say?
They realize it. They agree with a lot. We actually have Bible study. We try to do it once a week. Most of the time, it's once a week. Usually on Thursdays or Mondays, because they all work different shifts and stuff. So started out every Thursday. We've been doing it once a week since Thanksgiving, and we just sit and talk about the past. Just try to teach them what I've learned so far, and we sit and read the Word, and I try to explain best I can, and I let
Mhm.
them speak on what they feel, but yeah,
Do they say anything about noticing a difference in you?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they have, yeah, they say it all the time.
Yeah. That must
Yeah,
feel good to know.
yeah,
Like, they see, uh, they can see you as like a spiritual father now and
yeah,
a father.
exactly.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it is, man. I read when I read Deuteronomy. That's where Deuteronomy, I think 7, Deuteronomy 6, chapter 6, verse 7 or 8, something like that. Ain't that good yet, but it just spoke about teaching your kids, man, the word. Um, when you lay down, when you get up, when you walk down the street with them, just teach them the word, and that's what I decided to do. If I don't do anything else, I'm gonna do that, So, and I thought about all my failures with them as a father, and I was like, well, here we go. So, time to get it. I know now. You know better, you do better. So now I know,
Yeah.
and I talked to him, and I explained to him when we first started studying, this is why I'm doing it. God told me to right here. It's in black and white.
Mm. Right.
And they've been coming. I sit and cry sometimes and thank God how they hunger for it, man.
Yeah.
They show up every time. You know, sometimes things come up and we have to shift the day or something. But I remember one time. Well, it's my youngest son. It's my three oldest kids. My youngest son is a truck driver now. He lives in Tennessee, so he don't get to really study with us. But my other three, they all live here, and they come over, man, and don't like to miss. Don't really like to have to study when somebody can't be there. So
Mm.
I remember it was a few weeks ago. Somebody couldn't make it. And I was like, well, y'all can still come if you want, and we'll, fill you in. And I think it's my oldest daughter. Deja said that no, she didn't want to unless everybody there. Or my oldest boy. Somebody said it. I know they didn't want to have to study unless we was all together. So
Yeah.
that's beautiful, man. And they come and they love it. They look at me differently.
Mm.
I can see it in their eyes when I'm talking to them. They focused
Yeah.
and it's they're not distracted and they ask questions and I encourage them to speak how they feel. How did you take this verse or
Mm.
how did you take this paragraph? We kind of break it up because the Bible it's got subheadings and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of breaks down what parable is what. So,
Mm-hmm.
and we in Luke. We started in Luke, but yeah, I tell them, okay, let's read this, come back, talk about it, and we'll sit and talk. Usually, it's an hour easily. Sometimes an hour and a half, and then try to cook dinner for them and just sit and break bread together and get in the word, man.
Yeah. I mean, God kept you guys together through it all.
Yeah.
And, now all they yearn for is to be together with
Hmm.
you, which is so awesome that, because so many families who go through times like that, separation happens,
Yeah.
anger and animosity happens, or they want to be far away. They don't want to be anywhere near it.
Yeah.
And so for God to keep y'all together through all that is truly amazing, man. And now you're getting to be what you didn't have, which is a spiritual father.
Yeah.
And you can give them a good floor because your ceiling is going to be basically their floor to where they can start
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
with their family. Do they have families yet? Any of your
Oh
kids?
yes.
Yeah.
I got 5 grandkids. Yeah.
Woo! Yeah, you do. Yeah, you
Yeah.
do.
So sometimes they over there during the study.
That's awesome.
I had 3 of them at church last month with me.
Okay.
Those are my youngest boy, Jaheim. He has 3 sons. My oldest son, Jeff Jr. He has 1 boy, and my youngest daughter has a little girl, and she's expecting again now. So
Wow.
yeah, it's about to add another one to the team. Got somebody coming off the bench.
Right
But
on.
yeah, that's a different kind of love there, man.
Yeah.
Grandchildren.
Yeah, it's a different thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just get to watch. I enjoy watching my parents get to enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And they'll get to enjoy it more and more. It's just like the way my kids just love them is so like if we're not going over there, they get sad about it. They get
Hmm.
bummed. I remember when they were real little, they'd sometimes even cry to come home with me. I'm like, come on now, give
Yeah.
me a break.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's special, man. You get a little bit more freedom. I feel like as a grandparent, you get to kind of,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Definitely.
yeah,
You get a do over.
mm,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because I know I treated my kids like I was a drill instructor in the military. So
mm,
I don't. I'm like I didn't need to be like that. I didn't have to yell at them. So
yeah. When you don't know, like as a guy, when you don't know what to do, I feel like that's kind of one of the like go tos
it is.
because like as a guy, we might not know exactly how to discipline a situation. So getting stern is a quick option we can
Hmm.
kind of just go to.
Fear. That's
Yeah,
what and that's all I remember. So
right.
yeah, just fear.
A little bit
So
of that's learned behavior.
yeah, yeah.
it's crazy. Like the older you get, the more you realize like why you are the way you are, and then
Yeah.
how much more Jesus we need to help
Man,
us get it
tell me
all
about
figured
it.
out. That's something that I've gotten better at, and my kids are 2 and 3, so it's like I got to remember they're 2 and 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have
Yeah.
some grace, and like love them just because I love them, not because I need to get anything out of it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Sometimes like I don't know if it's just me or this is this fleshly part of you that just wants to like get you. You feel like you're gonna get some kind of reward, but the best reward you're gonna get is them being good kids. Just love
Yeah.
them, you know.
Yeah. The
Just love them and
moment.
they'll love you, and that's all you can ask for.
Yes. It's the moments, man. Yep. That you remember and think about, that they remember and think about. And yeah, just love them. That's it. It's that simple.
Yeah. So when you're talking about starting like a homeless shelter, is that like for real something you want to do one day? Like, have you
Yeah.
been praying about it, seeking the Lord on it?
Yeah. Yeah, I have. And I try to find out. I pay attention at the mission, how that runs. And then just, I've taken a couple of leadership classes that talk about nonprofits and non for profit and getting LLCs and stuff like that. I know it's a lot more than just behind a building and letting people stay. So
Yeah. Well, you're doing it. You're taking the right steps because I've had friends of mine before come up to me and talk about starting a nonprofit. I'm like, great, go to the nonprofits that do that and see how they do it.
yeah,
Because like if you don't have like it might not be the exact same blueprint, but if you don't have an idea of how it's run,
yeah,
I mean, how are you ever going to get started? So you're seeing it, you're watching it, you're taking classes, so you're really serious about it.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
awesome, man.
definitely. Because I think it just goes in, like you said earlier, just going to the mission and working for housing. All of that is what that is. It's all that information is there for me to access and just learn and remember. So,
And when it's
so
yours, you'll have the freedom to talk about God whenever you want to. You don't gotta worry about your job no more. Because like
exactly.
I feel like that would kind of be like wearing handcuffs when you're going to work because you feel like it's hard to even witness to people. You gotta kind of try to get it in where you feel like you can. Because I understand there's boundaries with work and stuff, and
Yeah.
my job I feel the same way sometimes. So that can be hard, but. Man, how awesome would it be for the Lord to open up a door for you to get to do it yourself, and then it can be God first
Yep.
and give
Most
people the true
definitely,
hope.
man.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So what's next for you other than that? What's next for you?
Uh, just working on a closer relationship with God, man. Just every day. That's
What does that look like for you? I know you talked about reading, but specifically, what other steps are you taking to try to like get closer to Him?
self control. You
Mm.
know, and you want to start with small things. I've changed a little bit how I eat.
Yeah.
Um, changed what I eat. Haven't had a soda in I think a month,
Nice.
something like that. Just little things, man, and just work on that self discipline. Something I never had before, and then trusting Him. I kind of took a leap of faith in a house I just moved in. I was living in an apartment, and this house kind of fell in my lap, man, and it was a little out of my price range. And I was like, man. So I talked to the owner, and something was kind of drawing me to it, and we spoke a little bit. She had some encouraging words for me, and I just prayed about it. And then the next day, I seen her, and she actually went down on the rent, and it broke me down, man. I was
Wow.
like, what do I need to do? Do I need to do this? Because I just became content where I was at, because I'd been wanting a house just to have a yard, man, and be able to barbecue when I wanted to, and just different things come with a house. A little more privacy than living in an apartment building. And there's nothing wrong with an apartment.
Right.
It was a great apartment, but I was just I was I wasn't content, man. And then I thought about like he's provided me everything I need. What am I tripping for? I'm good. And I remember cleaning up and just I got the apartment the way I wanted it and threw away some things that I just had for no reason. And then here come this house. I'm like, it's like Lord, I just relaxed.
Mm.
So, like I said, and I just read something about believing in him and just having faith that he's gonna take care of whatever comes your way. So that's why I took that, and um, yes, it's working out, man. It's nice. It's very comfortable and cozy and exactly what I needed, and yeah,
Marcelo and I were just talking about sometimes the battles aren't ours to fight.
yeah,
They're almost like never ours to fight. It's the Lord's to fight, and so we have to learn to like rest.
yeah,
And as men, sometimes we can try to find a way to fight. But isn't it so perfect that as soon as you found time to just say, "Okay, God, I'm content," He was like, "Well, I have more."
yeah,
And whenever Jody and I were looking for a house, there were seasons like that where we were like, are we looking too hard? Are we like we're good, right? And
yeah,
I remember Jody was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm happy with this trailer. We were renting from my brother. We'll just be happy until we find the right house.
yeah,
And literally, like the next, I don't know, it's pretty soon after we found the house we were looking for. And one of our friends was like, I feel like the Lord told me that it was because you trusted in Him that it came to pass. And it's just such a testimony to those out there who are believing for something to just trust in the Lord,
yeah,
because that He can use you in that state when you're malleable. Whenever you're like, okay, Lord, I'm not putting up a wall. I'm not putting my own strength into this anymore. I'm just gonna trust you.
yeah,
And I love the discipline stuff, man. I mean, I feel like that's so. And I love how you put it, just small steps, because you can't. You go to bed and think of 100 things you can change in your life
oh
tomorrow,
yeah,
and start with one,
yeah. That's it, man.
and work on yourself, because we're works in progress. You're not
Yeah.
gonna change in a day. You know what I mean? Habits take time to form, and sometimes you break it and then you lose it, and you have to start all over again.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely, man. Yes, sir. Patience is key.
But you got anything else for the people before we hop off here?
Oh, man. No. Um,
Thank you for coming
Kinda
on.
made
It's
it
been
through.
nice to get to, really get to talk to you, because I know you worked with Jody and stuff for a season, and I just felt like I always felt like this draw to you, but I never got to really get to talk to you, other than like, hey,
Yeah.
how are you doing,
yeah, yeah.
and stuff. And that's how a lot of this is how I form relationships, is through the
It's-
podcast. Is I get to sit down and talk to somebody for a little while. I get to hear about their life, because it just connects you in a different way when you're like, oh, okay, I know where they've been and I know where they're
Yeah.
going now, and
Yeah.
it kind of makes it just like all that much better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's cool, man. I truly appreciate you asking me and having me, man. I was nervous, because I was like, I've never ever done a podcast or been interviewed or on screen. So yeah, it's cool, man. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Yes.
It's just talking,
Yeah.
and we jump all over the place. We don't got. I try to do just whatever the Lord is doing. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like we'll talk about like. I didn't even know we were gonna get into the troubles of you being. I didn't even know that about your life, about being homeless and stuff, and
Oh yeah.
all that. So I'm glad that, because people need to hear stories like that.
Mhm.
People need to hear that. People see us sometimes and they see the roles we're in now.
Yeah.
I mean, they just assume Jeff's always been Jeff, and they don't realize like, no, Jeff had to work with the Lord and figure it out.
Yes.
But even in those seasons of like, I do, figure it out. We got a roof over our head today, but then 7 years down the road, my kids don't even know of a home to call home. Now they can come to your house
Yeah. That's
and
man.
and read the word together. That is the Lord, man.
Yes, it is. That's what I felt that he did, man. And it was wild because they didn't even know I moved, and I told them we're gonna have our next Bible study here.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave them the address. I was like, "Yeah, y'all just meet me over here." So they all my oldest daughter came, Deja, and she had something on her mind, so she was in the house talking for like 15 minutes before she even realized. Started looking around. This is your furniture, you know. So she just thought we was at somebody else's house.
You
And
should have
then,
got that on video. That's
I know
hilarious.
I
That's
was just
so
waiting for her
funny.
to say something. Yep. Then my oldest boy came. He thought he thought I had a girlfriend or something. And then my youngest daughter came, Jay, and she walked in and just burst out in tears immediately.
Oh, that's
As
awesome.
soon as because I got this big map on my wall of the world, and you see it as soon as you walk in. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess she recognized that, and probably some pictures, but yeah, it was a nice surprise, man. Yeah. So needless to say, it was a nice study there. I think I had dinner ready for him, so it was a good day. And it just love. That's what God is, love, man.
Amen. Well, thank you again. And thank you, everybody, for checking it out. Before I hop off, come out to the farmhouse the next time you get a chance and get some coffee and support this business. I meant to start off with this and I totally forgot. But we need businesses like this in our community, and we need them to thrive. So if you're listening and you love Sarah, or you want to be a part of supporting her, come in and get you some good coffee. So I'll talk to you all next time. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for checking out the WBF podcast, or as it's called, Walk by Faith. I think testimonies are so important. It gives us power over the enemy. And I really hope that these encourage you and bless you. And if you like the episode, please just share it with your friends and family. That's the biggest way you can support. Like and subscribe on the Spotify page or wherever you're watching. If you want to know about giving, just click the link below. But the biggest thing you can do is share this with somebody else, because you never know which testimony is going to touch somebody in your life. So I hope to see you guys next time, and thank you again.